Liana and Rashid Al-Farouq's love story began like a fairy tale, but behind the glittering Dubai skyline, a $4 million dowry hid a deadly secret. One Filipina bride, three secret affairs, and a betrayal that would shatter lives forever. In the glittering skyline of Dubai, where luxury knew no limits, and every night seemed like a festival of lights, Liana's life took an unexpected turn. Born in a modest neighborhood in Manila, she had grown up dreaming of a world far beyond her reach, a life filled with elegance and opportunity. Her beauty and charm had always set her apart, but it was her intelligence and poise that drew the attention of Dubai's elite. It was during a charity gala, held in a towering glass palace overlooking the city, that she first met Rashid Al-Farouq, a billionaire whose name alone commanded respect and admiration. Known for his vast empire of real estate, technology, and luxury ventures, Rashid was a man used to getting what he wanted, and for the first time in his life, he was captivated by someone who seemed untouchable in her simplicity. The proposal came as a shock to everyone who knew her. A private dinner atop the Burj Khalifa, with the city lights sparkling like stars beneath them, Rashid presented a dowry that seemed almost unreal. For $1 million, a fortune that could transform her entire world in an instant. Liana, both excited and overwhelmed, realized that this offer was more than just a gesture. It was a ticket into a life she had once only imagined. Yet, as cameras flashed and socialites whispered their approval, a subtle tension lingered beneath the surface. In this dazzling moment of triumph, nobody could see the fragile line that separated admiration from envy, love from obsession, and excitement from danger. In the shadows of the celebration, a silent question remained. What hidden complexities lay behind this extravagant proposal, and how would a life built on wealth and desire survive when human emotions collided with unimaginable power? The wedding was a spectacle that Dubai would not forget. Set in a sprawling palace decorated with thousands of white roses and gold accents, it was a scene straight out of a fairy tale, yet tinged with an underlying intensity that few noticed. Chandeliers glimmered overhead, casting a warm glow on guests who arrived in luxury cars and private jets, each eager to witness the union of Liana and Rashid Al-Farouq. Liana's gown, embroidered with delicate crystals and flowing like liquid silk, seemed to capture the light itself, making her the center of attention as she entered the grand hall. Rashid, composed and commanding, wore a custom-tailored suit that reflected his status, his eyes never leaving hers, signaling a mixture of pride and possessiveness. Every detail of the event screamed wealth. Tables stacked with rare delicacies, live performances by world-renowned artists, and a fireworks display that lit up the Dubai skyline. Socialites whispered among themselves, admiring the dowry and the power it symbolized. Yet beneath the surface of celebration, subtle tensions began to appear. Staff noticed Liana checking her phone more than expected, sometimes stepping away to take secret calls. Guests with sharp eyes began to speculate about her connections, noticing the ease with which she navigated conversations with Dubai's most influential figures. Despite the grandeur, Liana felt a strange mix of exhilaration and unease. While the wedding elevated her into a world of unimaginable luxury, it also placed her under intense scrutiny. Every smile, every gesture, every interaction was observed and analyzed. The city's elite were watching closely, and the line between admiration and suspicion was thinner than the silk of her gown. In this dazzling celebration, it became clear that the wedding was not just a union of two people. It was a stage where power, desire, and hidden secrets were quietly at play. At first, life after the wedding seemed like a dream come true. Liana moved into Rashid's sprawling penthouse, a space that overlooked the shimmering skyline of Dubai, filled with art, rare antiques, and every luxury imaginable. Each day brought a new indulgence: private yachts gliding across the Persian Gulf, exclusive shopping sprees in high-end boutiques, and invitations to events that were reserved for the city's wealthiest elites. Liana quickly adapted to the rhythm of this new life, learning the unspoken rules of etiquette and conversation that governed Dubai's upper class. Her charm and elegance made her a favorite among social circles, and she began to be admired not only for her beauty, but also for her ability to navigate this rarefied world with poise. Rashid, meanwhile, continued expanding his empire, traveling between meetings and overseeing deals worth millions. On the surface, their life seemed flawless, a picture of wealth, power, and harmony. But beneath the glittering exterior, subtle cracks began to appear. Liana noticed financial transactions she could not explain, and Rashid observed her occasional distant moments, the slight tension in her smiles, and the hurried messages she sometimes sent. Even within the penthouse, a sense of unease crept into the gilded rooms. Private staff began whispering about late-night visitors and unusual deliveries, while friends of the couple sensed an undercurrent of secrecy that neither Liana nor Rashid openly addressed. The lavish lifestyle that once felt like freedom began to feel like a gilded cage. For Liana, every indulgence came with a price: constant scrutiny, whispered judgments, and the pressure of maintaining perfection in a world where appearances mattered more than truth. As the days passed, the line between admiration and suspicion blurred, and the perfect life they had envisioned teetered on the edge of something far darker. Beneath the glittering surface of Liana's new life, a dangerous secret was taking shape. While everyone believed she was devoted to Rashid, she had begun cultivating secret relationships with 3 other wealthy tycoons, men whose influence and power rivaled her husband's. Each liaison was carefully orchestrated, hidden behind private residences, exclusive events, and coded messages. Liana's charm and intelligence allowed her to navigate these hidden connections with precision, creating a web of deception that grew more complex with every encounter. Her life became a delicate balancing act. By day, she attended charity galas and luxury gatherings with Rashid, smiling and engaging in public appearances that projected the image of a perfect wife. By night, she slipped into secret rendezvous, each meeting planned to avoid suspicion. Each tycoon she became involved with represented a different facet of temptation. One offered lavish gifts and exotic trips, another provided influence in Dubai's elite circles, and the third offered the thrill of being desired without limits. The combination of power, wealth, and secrecy created an intoxicating mix that drew Liana deeper into risk with every passing day. The thrill of deception was addictive, but it was also dangerous. Every phone call, every hidden meeting, every coded message left digital traces that could easily be discovered. The world she had stepped into was unforgiving. Betrayal among the elite was rarely forgiven. Staff, assistants, and even casual observers could notice small inconsistencies that, when pieced together, might reveal the truth. Liana's life had transformed into a high-stakes game where one mistake could unravel everything. She moved through this web of secrets with caution, fully aware that her carefully constructed facade could collapse at any moment, turning her glamorous existence into a perilous trap from which there might be no escape. As weeks passed, Rashid began noticing subtle inconsistencies in Liana's behavior. At first, they seemed minor: a delayed response to his messages, a lingering look at her phone, or a vague excuse for attending private meetings alone. But these small cracks soon became impossible to ignore. The billionaire, accustomed to control and precision in every aspect of his life, could sense that something was off. His instincts, honed by years of navigating business and power, told him that Liana was hiding more than she revealed. Rashid quietly enlisted the help of his trusted assistant to monitor her movements. Calls were tracked, financial transactions analyzed, and every social engagement carefully logged. What began as a flicker of suspicion quickly grew into a chilling realization. Expensive gifts appeared in Liana's possession without explanation. Her social media interactions hinted at secret connections. Invitations she claimed were work-related led to private meetings with unknown figures. Each discovery added weight to the growing tension, and Rashid's patience began to thin. Meanwhile, Liana remained unaware of the scrutiny she was under. Her confidence in her ability to maintain secrecy blinded her to the possibility of being watched so closely. The thrill of her hidden relationships continued, but the signs of danger were everywhere. Even minor mistakes, missed calls, unexplained absences, were noted and stored like pieces of a puzzle that would soon reveal a disturbing picture. The tension between them became palpable, though it remained unspoken. Rashid's trust had been shaken, and Liana's world of indulgence and secrecy teetered on the edge of exposure. In a city built on wealth and influence, where appearances were everything, the game of deception had escalated to a point where one misstep could have irreversible consequences, and the invisible walls closing in around Liana grew heavier with each passing day. The moment of discovery hit Rashid like a storm he could neither predict nor control. Through meticulous investigation, he uncovered undeniable evidence of Liana's multiple affairs. Financial records showed unexplained transfers, hotel reservations in her name appeared in suspicious locations, and digital messages revealed connections to 3 powerful tycoons. Each revelation cut deeper than the last, exposing a web of deception that Liana had spun with precision but not perfection. Rashid's anger was immediate, a mix of betrayal, humiliation, and disbelief that someone he trusted so completely could manipulate him so boldly. The billionaire's world, where control and image were paramount, suddenly felt fragile. The palace that once symbolized luxury and stability now seemed suffocating, each lavish room echoing with the reality of betrayal. Rashid knew that exposing Liana publicly could destroy her reputation, but the thought of letting the deceit go unanswered was impossible. In his mind, vengeance and justice became inseparable, a dangerous combination fueled by hurt and pride. Meanwhile, Liana's carefully crafted life began to unravel without her knowledge. The subtle signs she had ignored, the phone tracking, the surveillance, the careful observation of her routines, were converging into a net that would trap her. Every meeting she had thought secret, every gift she had received from the tycoons, now carried the weight of impending exposure. In this high-stakes game, the lines between love, greed, and power blurred. Rashid's realization marked a turning point. The glamorous life that had once seemed untouchable was now under threat. Liana's hidden world, built on charm and calculated risk, faced the looming shadow of discovery, and in Dubai's elite circles, where wealth often dictated morality, the consequences of betrayal could be both swift and deadly. The tension between Rashid and Liana grew palpable, though no confrontation unfolded in public. Behind the towering walls of their penthouse, every glance, every gesture carried unspoken weight. Rashid's demeanor shifted from composed to quietly menacing, a subtle warning that his awareness of her betrayal was no longer a secret. Liana, sensing the change, felt the walls of her carefully constructed world closing in. The luxury that once symbolized freedom now felt like a gilded cage, each room a reminder that her secrets were no longer entirely safe. She began to notice surveillance that had previously gone unnoticed, slight movements in shadows, the lingering presence of staff, and the discreet tracking of her communications. Friends and acquaintances, once warm and inviting, started keeping a cautious distance, their curiosity and concern cloaked in polite conversation. Every decision became a test: where to go, whom to meet, and how to appear unassuming in a world that no longer trusted her. The thrill of her double life was replaced by a creeping sense of fear. For Rashid, the situation was equally charged. He did not act impulsively. Instead, he calculated every step, weighing the consequences of exposure versus containment. Private security monitored entrances and exits, and digital traces were scrutinized to ensure that no further deception could occur. The billionaire's strategy was methodical, an invisible net tightening around Liana with precision, ensuring that she understood the danger she faced without needing direct confrontation. In this charged atmosphere, every interaction became a silent battle. Liana's confidence wavered as the realization sank in. The web she had woven could unravel at any moment. Trust was gone, and in its place lurked a volatile mix of fear, control, and unspoken threats. The delicate balance between power and vulnerability had shifted, leaving both of them on the edge of a deadly precipice. Rashid's patience had worn thin, and he began to orchestrate a plan that was precise and unyielding. Rather than confront Liana publicly, he relied on his vast network of influence, knowing that in Dubai's elite world, power often outweighed legal limitations. Private investigators were deployed, tracking her every move, documenting every secret meeting, and uncovering connections she thought were hidden. Each step was calculated to ensure that Liana could not act impulsively or escape the consequences of her actions. The billionaire's resources extended far beyond what most could imagine. Surveillance cameras, discreet tracking devices, and trusted staff were all enlisted to monitor her routines. Even her communications, which she believed to be private, were quietly analyzed. The thrill Liana once felt from her hidden relationships was replaced with unease, though she remained unaware of the full scope of Rashid's reach. Every decision she made carried unseen weight. Every secret rendezvous now teetered on the edge of exposure. Rashid's strategy was not only about control, but about sending a clear, silent message. Betrayal in his world came with consequences. He avoided overt confrontation, understanding that in a city built on appearances, subtlety could be more powerful and more terrifying than public outbursts. Liana's life, filled with luxury and indulgence, became a delicate trap. Meanwhile, the three tycoons who had shared her secret world remained unaware of the tightening net. Each thought their meetings were private, their influence secure, yet the invisible presence of Rashid's investigation cast a shadow over their dealings. In this high-stakes environment, deception carried immediate risks, and one misstep could ignite a chain reaction with irreversible consequences. Liana's glamorous existence, once a symbol of freedom, had transformed into a perilous game of observation, manipulation, and silent threats, where the next move could be deadly. The night that changed everything arrived without warning. Liana's life, built on secrets and indulgence, came to a sudden and mysterious end within the walls of her luxury villa. The sprawling residence, filled with priceless art and state-of-the-art security, became the scene of a tragedy that stunned Dubai's elite. Official reports described the event as an accident, an unfortunate misstep, a fatal fall, but whispers immediately suggested something far more sinister. Those closest to the couple knew the timing was too precise, the circumstances too convenient. Investigators faced a labyrinth of conflicting evidence. Financial records hinted at recent large withdrawals, phone logs revealed a flurry of cryptic messages, and witness accounts were contradictory, with some claiming to see unusual visitors in the hours leading up to the incident. The three tycoons who had secretly been involved with Liana distanced themselves immediately, aware that their connections might implicate them. Friends and acquaintances expressed shock, but many privately speculated that Liana's death was not a simple accident, and that someone with immense power and influence had engineered the outcome. For Rashid, the event marked the culmination of betrayal and silent retribution. Though nothing was ever publicly linked to him, insiders whispered about his presence and meticulous planning, suggesting that his knowledge of Liana's affairs had enabled him to act decisively. Dubai society, always fascinated by wealth and scandal, buzzed with speculation, the story spreading quickly through whispers in elite circles and social media chatter. Liana's life, once filled with glamour, opportunity, and carefully concealed secrets, ended abruptly, leaving behind a trail of mystery and unanswered questions. In the world of Dubai's billionaires, where appearances are everything and betrayal is rarely forgiven, her death became a chilling reminder. In a game of wealth, power, and desire, the can seek. The aftermath of Liana's death sent shockwaves through Dubai's elite circles, leaving a mix of fear, curiosity, and speculation in its wake. The story of the Filipina bride, once celebrated for her beauty and charm, became a cautionary tale whispered among high society. Rashid returned to his empire, outwardly composed, continuing his business ventures with the same precision and dominance as before, but those close to him knew the events had left an indelible mark. The three tycoons who had been secretly involved with Liana disappeared from the public eye, cautious and wary of any connection that could draw scrutiny. Despite official reports citing an accident, the rumors of foul play persisted, growing more vivid with every retelling. Dubai's glittering skyline and luxurious palaces, symbols of wealth and power, now seemed haunted by the memory of betrayal and secrecy. Socialites debated endlessly, analyzing every detail, from lavish parties to private meetings, from financial transactions to hidden messages. Liana's life and death became an obsession, a story that revealed the fragility hidden beneath the veneer of wealth and opulence. The $4 million dowry, once seen as a symbol of love and status, transformed into a grim emblem of greed, desire, and the deadly consequences of deception. In a world where appearances dictated reality, Liana's story exposed the dangerous intersection of ambition and betrayal. Those who had once envied her fortune now viewed it as a cautionary trap, a reminder that in Dubai's elite society, power carries not only privilege but also the weight of unforgiving retribution. Years later, the scandal remained a whispered legend, a chilling reminder that in the pursuit of wealth, beauty, and influence, the stakes are often higher than anyone dares to imagine. Liana's life, once radiant with opportunity, ended as a haunting testament to the deadly consequences of secrets in a world where trust is fragile and betrayal can be fatal.